sustain digestion and absorption. Food is one of the basic requirements of all living organisms. The major components of our food are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Vitamins and minerals are also required in small quantities. Food provide energy and organic materials for growth and repair of tissues. The water we take in plays an important role in metabolic processes and also prevent dehydration of the body. Biomacromolecules in the food cannot be utilized by our body in their original form. They have to be broken down and converted into simple substances in the digestive system. This process of conversion of complex food substances to simple absorbable forms is called digestion and is carried out by our digestive system by mechanical and biochemical methods. General organization of the human digestive system is shown in figure 16.1. 16.1 Digestive System. The human digestive system consists of the alimentary canal and the associated glands. 16.1.1 Alimentary Canal. The alimentary canal begins with an anterior opening, the mouth, and it opens out posteriorly through the anus. The mouth leads to the buccal cavity or oral cavity. The oral cavity has a number of teeth and a muscular tongue. Each tooth is embedded in a socket of jawbone. Figure 16.2. This type of attachment is called thecodont. Majority of mammals, including human beings, form two sets of teeth during their life. A set of temporary milk or deciduous teeth replaced by a set of permanent or adult teeth. This type of dentition is called diphyodont. An adult human has 32 permanent teeth which are of four different types. Heterodont dentition, namely incisors I, canine C, premolars PM and molars M. Arrangement of teeth in each half of the upper and lower jaw in the order I, C, PM, M is represented by a dental formula which in humans is 2123 upon 2123. The hard chewing surface of the teeth made up of enamel helps in the mastication of the food. The tongue is a freely movable muscular organ attached to the floor of oral cavity by the frenulum. The upper surface of the tongue has small projections called papillae, some of which bear taste buds. The oral cavity leads into a short pharynx which serve as a common passage for food and air. The esophagus and the trachea windpipe open into the pharynx. A cartilaginous flap called epiglottis prevents the entry of food into the glottis, opening of the windpipe during swallowing. The esophagus is a thin, long tube which extends posteriorly, passing through the neck, thorax, and diaphragm, and lead to a J-shaped bag-like structure called stomach. A muscular sphincter gastroesophageal regulates the opening of esophagus into the stomach. The stomach, located in the upper left portion of the abdominal cavity, has four major parts: a cardiac portion into which the esophagus opens, a fundiac region, body, main central region, and a pyloric portion which opens into the first part of small intestine. Figure 16.3. Small intestine is distinguishable into three regions: a C-shaped duodenum, a long coiled middle portion jejunum, and a highly coiled ileum. The opening of the stomach into the duodenum is guarded by the pyloric sphincter. Ileum opens into the large intestine. It consists of cecum, colon, and rectum. Cecum is a small blind sac which hosts some symbiotic microorganisms. A narrow finger-like tubular projection, the vermiform appendix, which is a vestigial organ, arises from the cecum. The cecum opens into the colon. The colon is divided into four parts: an ascending, a transverse descending part, and a sigmoid colon. The descending part open into the rectum which open out through the anus. The wall of alimentary canal from esophagus to rectum possesses four layers. Figure 16.4, namely serosa, muscularis, submucosa and mucosa. Serosa is the outermost layer and is made up of a thin mesothelium, epithelium of visceral organs, with some connective tissues. Muscularis is formed by smooth muscles, usually arranged into an inner circular and outer longitudinal layer. An oblique muscle layer may be present in some regions. The submucosal layer is formed of loose connective tissue containing nerves, blood, and lymph vessels. In duodenum, glands are also present in submucosa. The innermost layer lining the lumen of the alimentary canal is the mucosa. This layer forms irregular folds (regi) in the stomach and small finger-like foldings called villi in the small intestine. Figure 16.5. The cells lining the villi produce numerous microscopic projections called microvilli, giving a brush border appearance. These modifications increase the surface area enormously. Villi are supplied with a network of capillaries and a large lymph vessel called the lectines. Mucosal epithelium has goblet cells which secrete mucus that help in lubrication. Mucosa also form glands in the stomach, gastric glands, and crypts in between the bases of villi in the intestine, crypts of Limburgen. All the four layers show modifications in different part of alimentary canal. 16.1.2 Digestive glands. The digestive glands associated with the alimentary canal include the salivary glands, the liver, and the pancreas. Saliva is the main Saliva is mainly produced by three pairs of salivary glands: the parotids, cheek, the submaxillary or submandibular lower jaw, and the sublinguals below the tongue. These glands, situated just outside the buccal cavity, secrete salivary juice into the buccal cavity. Liver is the largest gland of the body, weighing about 1.2 to 1.5 kg in an adult human. It is situated in the abdominal cavity just below the diaphragm and has two lobes. The hepatic lobules are the structural and functional unit of the liver, containing hepatic cells arranged in the form of cords. Each lobule is covered by a thin connective tissue sheath called the Gleason's capsule. The bile secreted by the hepatic cells passes through the hepatic ducts and is stored and concentrated in a thin muscular sac called the gallbladder. The ducts of gallbladder cystic duct along with the hepatic duct from the liver forms the common bile duct. Figure 16.6. The bile duct and the pancreatic duct open together into the duodenum as a common hepatopancreatic duct, which is guarded by a sphincter called the sphincter of Oddi. The pancreas is a compound, both exocrine and endocrine, elongated organ situated between the limbs of a C-shaped duodenum. The eggs, the exocrine portion secretes an alkaline pancreatic juice containing enzymes, and the endocrine portion secrete hormones, insulin and glucagon. 16.2 Digestion of food. The process of digestion is accomplished by mechanical and chemical processes. The buccal cavity performs two major functions: mastication of food and facilitation of swallowing. The teeth and the tongue, with the help of saliva, masticate and mix up the food thoroughly. Mucus in saliva help in lubricating and adhering the masticated food particles into a bolus. The bolus is then conveyed into the pharynx and then into the esophagus by swallowing or deglutition. The bolus further passes down through the esophagus by successive waves of muscular contractions called peristalsis. The gastroesophageal sphincter controls the passage of the food into the stomach. The saliva secreted into the oral cavity contain electrolytes Na+, K+, Cl-, HCO3-, and enzymes salivary amylase and lysozymes. The chemical processes of digestion is initiated in the oral cavity by the hydrolytic action of the carbohydrate splitting enzyme, the salivary amylase. About 30% of the starch is hydrolyzed here by this enzyme, optimum pH 6.8, into a disaccharide maltose. Lysozyme present in saliva act as an antibacterial agent that prevents infection. Starch, in the presence of salivary amylase at a pH of 6.8, converted into maltose. The mucosa of stomach has gastric glands. Gastric glands have three major types of cells, namely mucous neck cells which secrete mucus, peptic or chief cells which secrete the proenzyme pepsinogen, and parietal or oxantic cells which secrete HCl and intrinsic factors essential for absorption of vitamin B12. The stomach stores the food for 4 to 5 hours. The food mixes thoroughly with the acidic gastric juice of the stomach by the churning movements of its muscular wall and is called the chyme. The proenzyme pepsinogen on exposure to hydrochloric acid gets converted into the active enzyme pepsin, the proteolytic enzyme of the stomach. Pepsin converts proteins into proteoses and peptones, peptides. The mucus and bicarbonates present in the gastric juice play an important role in lubrication and protection of the mucosal epithelium from excoriation by the highly concentrated hydrochloric acid. HCl provides the acidic pH 1.8 optimal for pepsins. Renin is a proteolytic enzyme found in the gastric juice of infants which help in the digestion of milk proteins. Small amount of lipases are also secreted by the gastric glands. Various types of movements are generated by the muscularis layer of the small intestine. These movements help in the thorough mixing up of the food with various secretions in the intestine and thereby facilitate digestion. The bile, pancreatic juice, and the intestinal juice are the secretions released into the small intestine. Pancreatic juice and the bile are released through the hepatopancreatic duct. The pancreatic juice contain inactive enzyme trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, procarboxypeptidases, amylases, lipases, and nucleases. Trypsinogen is an activated by an enzyme enterokinase secreted by the intestinal mucosa into active trypsin, which in turn activates the other enzyme in the pancreatic juice. The bile release into the duodenum contain bile pigments, bilirubin and biliverdin, bile salts, cholesterol and phospholipids, but no enzymes. Bile helps in emulsification of fats, that is, breaking down of the fat into very small micelles. Bile also activates lipases. The intestinal mucosal epithelium has goblet cells which secrete mucus. The secretion of the brush border cells of the mucosa along with the secretion of the goblet cells constitute the intestinal juice or succus entericus. This juice contains a variety of enzymes like disaccharidases, example maltase, dipeptidase, lipases, nucleosidase, etc. The mucus along with the bicarbonates from the pancreas protect the intestinal mucosa from acid as well as provide an alkaline medium pH 7.8 for enzymatic activities. Submucosal gland, Brunner's glands also help in this. Proteins, proteose, and peptones, partially hydrolyzed proteins in the reaching the intestine, are acted upon by the proteolytic enzyme of the pancreatic juice as given below. Proteins, peptones, and proteoses in the presence of trypsin, chymotrypsin, and carboxypeptidase converted into dipeptides. Carbohydrates in the chyme are hydrolyzed by pancreatic amylase into disaccharides. Polysaccharides, example starch, is in the presence of amylase converted into disaccharides. Fats are broken down by lipases with the help of bile into di and monoglycerides. Fat, in the presence of lipases, converted into diglycerides, which is further converted into monoglycerides. Nucleases in the pancreatic juice acts on the nucleic acid to form nucleotides and nucleosides. Nucleic acid in the presence of nuclease converted into nucleotides further converted into nucleosides. The enzymes in the succus entericus act on the end product of the above reaction to form the respective simple absorbable forms. These final steps in digestion occur very close to the mucosal epithelial cells of the intestine. Dipeptides, dipeptidases, amino acids. Maltose in the presence of maltase converted into glucose plus glucose. Lactose in the presence of lactase converted into glucose plus galactose. Sucrose in the presence of sucrase converted into glucose plus fructose. Nucleotides in the presence of nucleotidase converted into nucleosides, which is further converted into sugars and bases in the presence of nucleosidases. Di and monoglycerides in the presence of lipases converted into fatty acids and glycerol. The breakdown of biomacromolecules mentioned above occur in the duodenum region of the small intestine. The simple substances thus formed are absorbed in the jejunum and ileum region of the small intestine. The undigested and unabsorbed substances are passed on to the large intestine. No significant digestive activity occur in the large intestine. The function of large intestine are absorption of some water, minerals and certain drugs, secretion of mucus which help in adhering the waste undigested particles together and lubricating it for an easy passage. The undigested unabsorbed substances called feces enter into the cecum of the large intestine through ileocecal valve, which prevents the backflow of the fecal matter. It is temporarily stored in the rectum till defecation. The activities of the gastrointestinal tract are under the neural and hormonal control for proper coordination of different parts. The sight, smell, and or the presence of the food in the oral cavity can stimulate the secretion of saliva. Gastric and intestinal secretions are also similarly stimulated by the neural signals. The muscular activities of different part of the alimentary canal can also be moderated by neural mechanisms, both local and through CNS. Hormonal control of the secretion of digestive juice is carried out by the local hormones produced by the gastric and intestinal mucosa. Calorific value of protein, carbohydrate, and fat. Boxed item not for evaluation. The enzyme requirements of animal the energy requirements of animals and the energy content of food are expressed in terms of measure of heat energy because heat is the ultimate form of all energies. This is often measured to as calorie cal or joule j, which is the amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Since this value is tiny amount of energy, physiologists commonly use kilocalorie kcal or kilojoule kj. 1 kilocalorie is the amount of energy required to raise the temperature of 1 kg of water by 1 degree Celsius. Nutritionalists additionally refer to the kilocalorie as calorie and or joule, always capitalized. The amount of heat liberated from complete combustion of 1 gram food in a bomb calorimeter, a closed metal chamber filled with O2, is its gross calorific or gross energy value. The actual amount of energy combustion of 1 gram of food is the physiologic value of food. Gross calorific value of carbohydrates, proteins and fats are 4.1 kilocalorie per gram, 5.65 kilocalorie per gram and 9.45 kilocalorie per gram respectively. Whereas their physiologic values are 4.0 kilocalorie per gram, 4.0 kilocalorie per gram and 9.0 kilocalorie per gram respectively. 16.3 Absorption of digested products. Absorption is a process by which the end products of digestion pass through the intestinal mucosa into the blood or lymph. It is carried out by passive or active or facilitated transport mechanism. Small amount of monosaccharides like glucose, amino acids and some electrolytes like chloride ions are generally absorbed by simple diffusion. The passage of these substances into the blood depend upon the concentration gradient. However, some substances like glucose and amino acid are absorbed with the help of carrier proteins. This mechanism is called the facilitated transport. Transport of water depend upon the osmotic gradient. Active transport occur against the concentration gradient and hence require energy. Various nutrients like amino acids, monosaccharides like glucose, electrolytes like Na+, are absorbed into the blood by this mechanism. Fatty acid and glycerol, being insoluble, cannot be absorbed into the blood. They are first incorporated into small droplets called micelles which move into the intestinal mucosa. They are reformed into very small protein coated fat globules called the chylomicrons which are transported into the lymph vessels lacteals in the villi. These lymph vessels ultimately release the absorbed substances into the bloodstream. Absorption of substances takes place in different parts of the alimentary canal like mouth, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. However, maximum absorption occur in the small intestine. A summary of absorption, site of absorption and substances absorbed is given in table 16.1. Table 16.1. The summary of absorption in different part of the digestive system. Mouth. Certain drugs come in contact with the mucosa of mouth and lower side of the tongue are absorbed into the blood capillaries lining them. Stomach. Absorption of water, simple sugar and alcohol takes place. Small intestine, principal organ for absorption of nutrients. The digestion is completed here and the final product of digestion such as glucose, fructose, fatty acid, glycerol and amino acids are absorbed through the mucosa into the bloodstream and lymph. Large intestine, absorption of water, some minerals and drugs takes place. The absorbed substances finally reach the tissue which utilize them for their activities. This process is called assimilation. The digestive waste solidifies into coherent feces in the rectum, initiate a neural reflex causing an urge or desire for its removal. The ejection of feces to the outside through the anal opening, defecation, is a voluntary process and is carried out by mass peristaltic movement. 16.4 Disorders of digestive system. The inflammation of the intestinal tract is the most common ailment due to the bacterial or viral infections. The infections are also caused by the parasites of the intestine like tapeworm, roundworm, threadworm, hookworm, pinworm, etc. Jaundice, the liver is affected, skin and eye turn yellow due to the deposit of bile pigments. Vomiting, it is the ejection of stomach content through the mouth. This reflex action is controlled by the vomit center in the medulla. A feeling of nausea precedes vomiting. Diarrhea, the abnormal frequency of bowel movement and increased liquidity of the fecal discharge is known as diarrhea. It reduces the absorption of food. Constipation. In constipation, the feces are retained within the colon as the bowel movement occur irregularly. Indigestion. In this condition, the food is not properly digested, leading to the feeling of fullness. The cause of indigestion are inadequate enzyme secretion, anxiety, food poisoning, overeating, and spicy food. PEM, dietary deficiency of protein and total food calories are widespread in many underdeveloped countries of South and Southeast Asia, South America, and West and Central Africa. Protein energy malnutrition PEM may affect large sections of the population during drought, famine, and political turmoils. This happened in Bangladesh during the Liberation War and in Ethiopia during the severe drought in mid 80s. PEM affect infants and child to produce marasmus and kwashiorkor. Marasmus is produced by a simultaneous deficiency of protein and calories. It is found in infants less than a year in age if mother's milk is replaced too early by other foods which are poor in both protein and calorific value. This often happens if the mother has second pregnancy or childbirth when the older infant is still too young. In marasmus, protein deficiency impairs growth and replacement of tissue proteins. Extreme emaciation of the body and thinning of limbs results the skin become dry, thin and wrinkled. Growth rate and body weight decline considerably. Even growth and development of brain and mental faculties are impaired. Kwashiorkor is produced by protein deficiency unaccompanied by calorific deficiency. It results from the replacement of mother's milk by a high caloric low protein diet in the child more than 1 year in age. Like marasmus, kwashiorkor shows wasting of muscles, thinning of limbs, failure of growth and brain development. But unlike marasmus, some fat is still left under the skin. Moreover, extensive oedema and swelling of the body parts are seen.